Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us the sources, we dig into them and pull out the insights for you.
That's the idea.
So today, we're really zeroing in on an article from Affilibear. It's all about the mindset of leads you get from a source called MyLeadGenSecret, or MLGS.
Right. And you might have come across these leads, or maybe you're even thinking about using offers targeted at them.
Exactly. So understanding where they're coming from, their perspective, it's pretty crucial, isn't it?
Absolutely essential, I'd say.
Our mission today really is just to get under the skin of this. Why are these MLGS leads often so, well, skeptical about anything that sounds like a make money online opportunity?
Yeah. What's driving that resistance? The Affilibear piece gives us some solid clues. It seems to boil down to a few key things they've experienced.
Okay, let's jump into the first one. The article calls it the too good to be true alarm. Sounds like these folks have a pretty well-developed, BS detector.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And you can see why, right?
Yeah.
Think about how many hyped up offers are out there.
Oh, constantly. $10,000 a week, no experience needed, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And when you hear that over and over, and it never quite pans out, well, it conditions you. It's like your brain learns to flag those massive claims as probably unrealistic. Any extreme promise without solid proof just feels off.
Yeah, triggers that internal alarm bell. The article actually has this quote from someone who used MLGS, saying something like, I was skeptical, but the promise was so intriguing, I thought, what do I have to lose?
See? That's it right there.
Yeah.
There's that initial flicker of hope, maybe, but it's immediately followed by that cautious, skeptical thought. What's the risk?
And it mentions they've likely been exposed to all those push-button system pitches before. The ones that promise the world, but, don't deliver.
Precisely. And that exposure doesn't just vanish. It builds up. It creates this filter almost. So now, when they see any bold claim, even a potentially legitimate one, the immediate reaction is kind of like, yeah, right, heard that one before.
It's a defense mechanism, really.
Totally. Learned behavior to protect themselves.
Okay, so it's not just being cynical about big claims. The article suggests there's a deeper fear of scams and loss going on, too. Comes from past bad experiences, maybe with drop shipping or affiliate marketing models that didn't work out or felt scammy.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really powerful driver. It's not just intellectual skepticism, it's emotional. They're genuinely worried about getting tricked again, about losing money they can't afford to lose.
That makes sense.
Yeah, think about loss aversion. Psychologically, losing, say, $100 hurts way more than gaining $100 feels good. So when a cold email about some new MMO thing hits their inbox, boom, defense is up.
They're immediately wondering, is this legit or is it just another way someone's trying to get my money?
Yep, and they're probably suspicious of the sender too, right? Thinking, okay, what's their angle? Are they just trying to make a commission off me?
So trust becomes absolutely paramount, but how do you even start building that?
Well, the article highlights a few things, like real testimonials, not cheesy, fake-looking ones, solid money-back guarantees help reduce that perceived risk, and just being transparent.
Yeah, clear communication.
Exactly,
Mm.
because these leads are, as the article puts it, on high alert for scams or overwhelming sales pitches. So those little signals of trustworthiness, they matter a lot.
Which kind of leads naturally into the next bit, the questions they ask. Even if they don't actually say them, these doubts are swirling around in their
That's for
heads.
sure. The article gives the absolute classic example. This sounds interesting, but what's the catch?
Ha! Yeah, everyone's looking for the catch.
It's like they expect there to be some hidden downside, some problem they're not seeing yet. It's not just curiosity. It's baked-in suspicion.
So if you're trying to reach them, you almost have to answer that question before they even ask it.
You really do. And there are other questions too, like, okay, how is this different from that other program that totally failed me? Or, the big one. If this is so great and easy, why isn't everyone already rich doing it?
They're poking holes, looking for the weak spots, and they're probably super sensitive to those typical online marketing red flags too, right?
Definitely. Things like hidden fees that suddenly appear at checkout, or guarantees that sound amazing but have impossible conditions buried in the fine print.
Oh, and those fake countdown timers,
Yeah.
only 3 spots left for the last 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Those tactics just scream scam to someone who's already wary.
Yeah.
So even if your offer is totally legit, you're fighting against all that baggage. You have to overcome that initial wall of doubt.
Okay, now what about their view on, like, the whole guru scene. The article calls it skeptical of hype and gurus.
Right. And this is interesting. It seems they've got a real cynicism towards that stereotypical internet marketing personality. You know the type.
Oh, yeah. Rented Lambo, maybe standing in front of a mansion that isn't theirs.
Exactly. Flashing cash, talking about how easy it all is. Yeah. Apparently that kind of display really turns these leads off.
Which makes sense if they feel like they've been fooled by that kind of thing before.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And the article points out that the people behind MLGS actually seem to understand this. Their own video sales letter, apparently, has the narrator deliberately presenting as just a regular person.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like in a normal setting, explicitly saying they're not flashing money. They're not one of those so-called experts who make money from telling people they can make money.
So they're actively trying not to look like a guru.
It seems so.
Mm.
The insight there is that authenticity, that relatability, seeming like a normal person who found something that works, that resonates way more with this audience than all the hype and flash.
They're more likely to believe someone who seems like them rather than some slick marketer in a suit.
That seems to be the idea. Authenticity beats hype for this crowd.
Okay, that totally connects to the next point then. Needing proof.
Yeah.
If they're skeptical of hype and gurus, they're going to need something solid, right?
Absolutely. Because they feel like they've been given empty promises before, they need actual concrete evidence
Yeah.
before they'll even consider buying in or trusting someone new. It's not enough to just say it works.
So what kind of proof are we talking about?
The article mentions things like actual screenshots of earnings, dashboards, verifiable stuff. Detailed case studies are good too, especially if they feature average people getting results, not just outliers.
Okay.
And things like free trials can work well, letting them dip their toes in without financial risk. Although the article does note that even with testimonials, there can still be skepticism. People know they could be fake.
Right, it's a tough crowd. Is this testimonial even real?
Exactly. So the more concrete and verifiable the proof, the better. Hard numbers, evidence you can scrutinize, that carries more weight than just vague claims.
Like that example the article used, if an email says, John from Texas made $500 his first month, the MLGS lead is immediately thinking.
Okay, show me, prove it.
Yeah. And does the level of proof needed change?
Seems like it might. The article suggests that leads who've, been around the block, maybe tried a few things, they're going to demand more rigorous, detailed proof. Whereas someone newer might be a little more open, but they'll still likely balk at anything that feels too fluffy or just pure hype. Still needs some substance.
Okay, so let's try and sum up this MLGS lead mindset based on what we've pulled from this Affilibear piece. The core takeaway seems to be they doubt everything at first. Is that fair?
I think that captures it pretty well. Every big promise gets that mental, really says who reaction. Every pitch is kind of guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah. And that phrase, sounds too good to be true, that's not just an idiom for them. It's like their default internal response.
And it's crucial to remember why, right? It's not just them being negative. It's a direct result of past experiences, past disappointments in this whole make money online space. It's a shield they've put up.
Right, a protective stance. So what does this mean practically if you're an email copywriter or anyone trying to engage with these leads?
Well, the article touches on a few strategies briefly. The absolute baseline seems to be acknowledge their skepticism. Don't pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, ignoring it probably just confirms their suspicions.
Exactly. You need to show you get where they're coming from. And then you need to actively overcome that skepticism through credibility, real proof, solid guarantees that actually reduce their risk, and using logic, not just emotional appeals.
And tackling that what's the catch question head on, transparently, even if they haven't voiced it.
Absolutely. It sounds like building any kind of trust here is a slow burn. It has to start by recognizing and respecting that default skepticism they have towards any promise of making easy money online.
Okay, so the big takeaway really is these MLGS leads, highly skeptical. And it's because of their history. Understanding that is step one.
It's the essential first step, yeah. If you want to communicate effectively, if you want to build any kind of bridge, you have to start from where they are, which is usually
All right, that gives us a lot to think about. And it leads to our final thought for you, the listener. Knowing about this deep-seated skepticism, what kind of unconventional approaches could you maybe take? How could you genuinely connect and provide real value, going way beyond the usual hype they're so tired of?
something to ponder.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this deep dive, pulling insights from that Affilibear source, gives you a clearer picture of this specific audience. Let us know what other areas you'd like us to explore next time.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.